Deadpool and Wolverine. I just saw it, and there's going to be no spoilers here, but I'm going to give my general thoughts about the movie, and I'm going to essentially repeat what I tweeted, that Deadpool and Wolverine, in terms of a movie, is kind of a mess. It's all over the place. Narratively, it's all over the place. But I had so much fun watching it. It was an absolute blast watching this movie, and it really was fan service on top of fan service on top of fan service. If you know all of the references that you're going to get, if you've been following superhero films for all the way back to where the first X-Men movie back in, 2000 happened, if you know all of these superhero moments and all of these stories and certain rumors and certain theories that have been out there, if you know all of that, this movie, you're going to love it because it's a love letter to the fans. That's essentially what it is. Narratively, like I said, it's all over the place from a narrative standpoint, but the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman is absolutely magic. It is perfection on screen when these two guys are having their back and forth, whether it's them talking shit to each other, whether they're fighting, whether they're working together. It's gold. And that is what ultimately does carry the movie. Seeing Hugh Jackman in the yellow Wolverine suit was obviously super cool. I talked about this many times, but I didn't see any trailers for this movie. I stayed away from every single trailer, every single TV spot, and very little images. So I knew nothing, relatively speaking, going into this movie. I didn't know about any of the cameos. I didn't know about anything. And I think that helped me a lot going into it. It helped me substantially because I've gotten to a point where if I'm not covering it for content, I have no use to watch a movie trailer because movie trailers have gotten to the point where they just show way too much. And that's one thing I was worried about with this because I'm like, well, I know I'm interested to see Deadpool and Wolverine. So I don't really need to be sold on a trailer or anything like that. So going into it blind as I did, I thought was very beneficial. So I was surprised a lot by a lot of the cameos and everything like that. Like I said, it's not the greatest movie from a narrative standpoint, from a story standpoint, any of that. It's kind of all over the place. But in terms of just the fan service and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, they are phenomenal. Now, of course, you have the breaking of the fourth wall, and they do it a lot. They take shots at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They take a lot of shots. And there's certain things that are said from certain cameo characters that I would love to talk about, but I'm sure we'll get into this on Friday Night Tights tomorrow over on Nerdrotic's channel. But there's a lot of those little moments right there that were just absolutely amazing. It took maybe like 30 minutes for things to get rolling, and I was like, where is this movie going? What are we doing? And it did take a little while for it to get going, but once it did get going, it really was great, mainly because of those two guys right there on screen. And it is a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. That's what carries this movie. And I've always said I'm not the biggest fan of Deadpool as the character, but my goodness, Ryan Reynolds is just perfection. You're talking about two of the most perfect superhero castings of all time in Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Fantastic. And the way that they bring Wolverine into this, I think it works. I'm not going to get into the details as to how they did that, but I thought it worked very well, and I was really happy to see that. There's so much I want to say about, cameos and spoilers and all of that, but I'm just going to leave it until FNT, and we will talk more details. But overall, here's what the ultimate takeaways from this movie are. Fan service, magic on screen with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and it's not saving the MCU. It ain't saving anything, so don't take that away. I know a lot of people are wondering, like, this is going to be the jump start for the MCU. This ain't saving nothing. It's just a really good, fun time at the movies. It's I won't necessarily say it's turn your brain off because there is some real heart in this movie and there are some real emotional beats in this movie, but it is, for the most part, in terms of just the overall story, it is kind of like turn your brain off and just have fun and laugh. And while not all the jokes landed, there was some really good ones that did land, and it all comes back to the chemistry of the two guys you're looking at on screen. So I do recommend Deadpool and Wolverine if you're interested. If you're not, if you feel that Disney doesn't deserve your money, I totally understand that, and I totally stand by that completely. If you feel like Hollywood doesn't deserve your money, I completely stand by that as well. I'm just here to give my opinion based on what I saw, and I had an absolute blast watching this movie, and I think most people that know the lore, know all of the ins and outs of a lot of the cameos and a lot of the nods that are in this, dating back to whether it's things within the movie universe, things that are not in the universe, things that were rumored on Twitter about certain people that could be involved in this or involved in that. It all worked wonderfully. I don't think this hits the heights of Spider-Man No Way Home or anything like that, but it really was fun, and I had a blast. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.